more Murk remained outside, and Jim Farland entered and beckoned the barber to him. "Step outside the door where nobody will overhear," he said. "I want to ask you something." The barber stepped outside, wondering what was coming. This man knew Jim Farland, too, and he knew that a call from him might mean trouble. "Trying to see how far you can go and keep out of jail?" Farland demanded. I don't know what you mean, sir." "Trying to run a bluff on me? On me?" Farland gasped. "You'd better talk straight. Do you expect to run a barber shop by day and a gambling joint by night all your life?" "Why, "Don't lie," Farland interrupted. "I know all about that little back room. Maybe I'm not on the city police force now, but you know me. I've got a bunch of friends on the force, and if I told a certain sergeant about your little game and said that I wanted to have you run in, he wouldn't hesitate a minute." "But what have I done, Mr. Farland?" the barber gasped. "I've always been friendly to you." "I know it. But are you going to keep right on being friendly?" "Of course, sir." "Willing to help me out in a little matter if I forget about that gambling?" "I'll do the best I can, Mr. Farland." "Then answer a few questions. Did you get a typewritten letter this morning with a wad of money in it?" The barber's face turned white. "Answer me!" Farland commanded. "Yes, I got such a letter, and I don't know what to make of it," the barber said. "I've got the letter and money in my desk right now. There wasn't any signature, and I didn't know where the letter came from or what it meant." "Then why did you do what the letter told you to do?" Farland asked. I don't understand." Farland motioned, and Murk now stepped around the corner. "Know this man?" Farland demanded. I've seen him before." "That letter told you to go to police headquarters, if requested to do so, and deny you knew this man, didn't it? It told you not to help a man named Sidney Prale, arrested for murder, to make his alibi by telling that he was here with this man last night about 11 o'clock, didn't it?" "Yes, sir." "And you did just what the letter told you?" "I was afraid not to do it, sir. I didn't know where that letter came from, you see." "Had an idea it came from some boss, didn't you?" "I didn't know, and I didn't dare take a chance, Mr. Farland. You know how it is." "I know how it is with a man who has busted a few laws and knows he ought to be pinched." "Did I make some sort of a mistake, sir? What should I do now?" "Something you don't do very often. Tell the truth," Jim Farland replied. "How about this man?" "He came here with the other gentleman last night about 11 o'clock, sir. He got a hair cut and a shave, and the other gentleman paid the bill." "Thanks. Sure about the time?" "I know that it was almost a quarter after 11 when they left the shop." "Well, I'm glad you can speak the truth. Get on your hat and coat." What do you mean, sir? Am I arrested?" "No. Get that letter and come with me. I want you to tell the truth to somebody else, that's all." The frightened barber got his hat and coat and the letter, and followed Jim Farland and Murk to the corner. There Farland engaged another taxicab and ordered the chauffeur to drive back to the little clothing store. "Running up a nice expense bill for Prale, but he won't care," Jim Farland said to Murk. He compelled the merchant to shut up his shop and get into the cab, and then the chauffeur drove to police headquarters. Farland had telephoned from the clothing store, and the captain of detectives was waiting for him. He ushered the merchant and the barber into the office, looked down at the captain, and grinned. "What's all this?" the captain demanded. "It's Sid Prale's alibi," Jim Farland said. "These two gents want to tell you how they lied today, and why they lied. It is an interesting story." The captain sat up straight in his chair, while Jim Farland removed his hat, sat down, motioned for Murk to do the same, and made himself comfortable. "About that alibi," Farland said. "I know that George Lerton lied about meeting Sid Prale on Fifth Avenue, but you don't, and so we'll let that pass for the time being, and get to it later. I just want to show you now that Prale's story about meeting this man Murk was a true tale. This clothing merchant is ready to say now that Prale and Murk were in his place last night about 10:30, and that Murk got his clothes there. And this barber is ready to swear that Prale and Murk arrived at his shop about 11:15 or 11, and did not leave until 11:15. Prale and Murk got to the hotel, as you know, at midnight. Prale couldn't have gone to that other hotel, murdered Rufus Shepley, and got to his suite by 12 o'clock, not if he left that barber shop far downtown at 11:15, could he?" "Scarcely," said the captain. "Very well. Ask these two gents some questions." The captain did. He read the two typewritten letters, and he understood how the fear of a political power might have been in the hearts of the two men. He rebuked them and allowed them to go. "Well, it looks a little better for Mr. Prale," the captain said, "but this isn't the end by any means. Remember that fountain pen of his that was found beside the body of Rufus Shepley?" "I didn't say that it was the end," Jim Farland declared. "I don't want it given out that any evidence has been found that is in Prale's favor. I just want you to whisper in the ear of the court that the alibi looks good, and let it go at that. There's something behind this case, and we want to find out what it is. Prale is out on bail, and let it go at that, as far as the public is concerned." "I grasp you," said the captain. "You want these enemies of his to think he is in deep water, so they'll be off guard and you can do your work." "Exactly," said Jim Farland. "Good enough. I'll do my part. Know anything about a woman calling herself Kate Gilbert?" "Never heard of her." Farland explained what Prale had told him. The captain fingered his mustache. "Several thousand women in this town answer that general description," he said. "I'm afraid I can't help you, unless you can pick her up." "That's what I'll do as soon as I can," Farland replied. "If I can get my eyes on her once, I'll trail her and find out a few things. She may have nothing to do with this, and she may have a great deal to do with it. What do you know about George Lerton?" "Shady broker," the captain replied. "Never done anything outside the law, as far as I know, but he's come pretty close to it. I'd hate to have him handling my money." "Well, he lied about meeting Prale. He did his best to get Prale to run away from town. That was a couple of hours before the murder, of course, so it probably had nothing to do with that. But why should he try to get Prale out of town? And, being a man of that sort, why did he say that he wouldn't handle Prale's funds? You'd think a man of his sort would like nothing better than to get his fingers tangled up in that $1,000,000. I'll have a man take a look at George Lerton." "Don't strain yourself," said Jim Farland. "I'm going to take a look at him myself, the first thing tomorrow morning." He left headquarters with Murk, and this time he did not engage a taxicab. He walked up the street, Murk at his side, and puffed at a cigar furiously. "Well, Murk, we've made a good start," Farland said after a time. "Yes, sir." "How do you like working with a detective now?" "Aw, you ain't a regular detective," Murk said. "What's that?" I mean, you ain't an ordinary dick. You got some sense."